The Supreme Court has affirmed the Senate President Ahmad Lawan as the All-Progressive Congress senatorial candidate for Yobe North. Speaking to journalists after the Supreme Court pronouncement, Lawan said this is a victory for APC in Yobe and all across Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much for being here. Let me start by thanking Almighty Allah for His blessings. And of course, what has happened today in the Supreme Court, the judgment on Yobe North, particularly, it's a victory for all APC in Yobe and generally APC across the country.
In the lead judgment, Justice Sentus Umweze on Monday faulted the approach of Bashir Machina in commencing the suit at the Federal High Court Damaturu Division by way of originating summons and without oral evidence to prove allegations of fraud. Lawan lauded the judiciary for his affirmative victory, stating that a better judiciary system serves the interest of the people irrespective of social status.
What happened was democracy at work, and the courts gave their various judgments, and of course the Supreme Court gave the final judgment. I want at this point to commend the Supreme Court and in fact the judiciary generally for making this kind of judgment to strengthen our democracy. Because it's not only for politicians to work and strengthen democracy, it's for all of us, and all the institutions have some roles to play.
A three-member panel led by Justice Monica Dagba-Mensah of the Court of Appeal in Abuja also upheld the ruling. It affirmed the nomination of Machina as the authentic candidate of the APC for the senatorial district. The appellate court observed that the APC argued its case and that of Senate President Ahmad Lawan in his brief, but failed to make him a co-appellate instead of the second respondent. The Senate President also thanked APC for not relenting despite the initial judgment ruled against the authenticity of his candidacy.
Let me take this opportunity to thank the All Progressives Congress, the APC, our party, for taking this matter to court, to the Supreme Court. Actually, I didn't, as a person, as an individual, go to the Supreme Court to seek for a redress. But my party did, and my people, the people of Yobe North and Yobe State generally, and many political associates and well-wishers and supporters across the country and beyond, who showed interest that there has to be an appeal at the Supreme Court on this matter. So today, this victory is for all of us.
It was gathered that the Senate President did not partake in the Yobe North senatorial primary, but the party had sent his name to INEC as its candidate. Machina, who won the primary, had resisted pressure on him to step down for Lawan and headed for the courts to seek justice. The Senate President Ahmed Lawan, after losing the presidential election of the APC, has been at loggerheads with Bashir Machina over the senatorial ticket of Yobe North. The fight for the Yobe North senatorial ticket has witnessed a lot of court rulings and dynamism, both in favor of and against the two candidates. The Federal High Court has ruled in favor of Bashir Machina as the certified and recognized candidate for the APC senatorial ticket for Yobe North. Still, with the latest Supreme Court judgment, the Senate President's final ruling stands in favor. It will be recalled that the Senate President had earlier accepted the court judgment on the status of his candidacy after losing out at the Federal High Court in Damaturu on September 28, 2022, and promised to seize his sword in challenging the court ruling. The case was then challenged at the highest apex court. The Supreme Court recognized the Senate President as the candidate, thereby disqualifying Machina.